So I want to ask y'all, deep down inside, why is it so hard to go up to people and be like, hey, come to our ACF event? Or go to our friends who are our friends and invite them to connect or, a united service. Why do y'all think it's so hard to do that? Personally.
I don't have any friends outside of like ACF people on KSU campus.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, especially, I just like how you just turned the camera. I would say it's hard because in my head, and I'm not doing this like consciously, but I just like, they're probably not gonna want to come. Like, it's they're probably not gonna come. And I just never think to invite them or whatever. It wasn't until I would say last year I started to say, hey, maybe just invite somebody. Who knows? Invite my roommates, and if they say no, at least I tried. But it's just I don't consciously do it. Just don't do it. So.
That's a good point. We always assume their answer.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be no. Anybody else? What's up, Jim?
For me, I feel like I don't like approaching random people that I don't know. That's just me.
What about your friends or your
Majority of them, like some of my family on my dad's side, some of them not even Christian, and they just got stuff to do, so I don't really just think about it. The majority of my friends, some of them outside the church, they're not even Christian at all, so that's
okay. So different religion can be also a barrier to that.
Yeah. They believe in God, but they just don't go to church and all that.
Okay. Barriers, also different lifestyle. Okay. Anybody else?
Before we keep going, that's a very good question, by the way.
It is.
This question?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, because we're setting up the year and we want to start inviting people to our events. So, what's up, Jay?
I guess lack of organization might be one of the biggest weaknesses of us right now. We don't know what we're inviting them to most times. We're just come through to the event. I don't know.
That's true.
So
So not knowing what you really stand for.
no, not that. I'm talking about more so what you're inviting them to.
Okay.
Every event's kind of impromptu. So setting up a schedule, sitting down, having different events every week. So we know.
So if we had
A legit calendar,
flyer?
a calendar.
Okay.
So everybody knew. This week we're gonna be talking about money. Next week we're gonna be talking about hygiene, stuff like that. So you can
Okay.
come prepared. Have a goal kind of thing in mind.
So lack of organization.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it is.
Okay, awesome. Anybody else? No? Okay.
That's no shade on you, by the way.
That's
No.
fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Ooh.
So, my next question is, why is it so hard to approach people as Adventists/Christians in terms of inviting them to church or, like I said before, ACF United services or anything that is Christian based?
Why did you say like that, Jesus?
Sorry, I'm trying to be more it's practice. What's that, Janeen?
Because every time with my in high school, with my school friends, every time I said I was Adventist and stuff, they always think that's something. It's something so strict, or something so.
I'd rather.
I really don't have any other word for it. I can't think of any.
Structured?
Well, not structured because they do have structure in other churches as well, but it's other denominations, but it's they think that we don't really do we don't really do much except for just talk about like not like how you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't do that and you can't do this. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I don't think it's that hard, but like if you answer the first question, then it shouldn't be that hard to answer the second question, kind of thing. Because like once you I already invited a few friends to church and stuff and had them come through, but you just more so like you have to actually have a relationship with them and they have to like see what you're trying to do. And if they respect you enough, first of all, they'll respect what you do and be interested to do what you do as well. So, one of my friends, like, he was going through like a breakup a few weeks ago, and he like wanted to come with me. So I was like, just come through. And he went. He enjoyed himself, and like we still talk. Like we were just hanging out earlier today. So like being able to like build up to it instead of just like the only time you talk to me is when you want to invite me to church or something. So like Jesus didn't do that.
I think because sometimes I think if you see other, like I know on campus they have like those the Catholic people or other, yeah, and like people are just like, or you know, or sometimes even Christians, like you already know, like called you out. Like everyone kind of already, I feel like has this default
Stereotype?
Yeah, we're like, okay, if you're trying to talk about God, you don't really push, you know, I don't know. And then since like Christians or Catholics are kind of like, I feel like more common than like, you know, Adventists, then it's like, okay, if it's already hard for them to do that, then it's gonna be
harder for us.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. I think it's our mindset too, like going into like inviting somebody. Like, what is our goal with inviting this person? And like, think about it, the Alpha Omega people, like literally when I was coming here, they invited me to their Bible study and I get stopped every time. And it's just like, they do it with such ease. And I'm just like, how? Like, and I just wonder, maybe it's like their mindset, or like they have a goal they're trying to reach and like bring new people to learn about God, and they focus on that instead of focus on, oh, this person's gonna judge me for being Christian, this person's gonna judge me for that means God. So I feel like if we get out of that mindset, it'll become easier.
I would say I don't go here. That's for the camera. But, you know, on my campus and just coming across people, I understand that like a lot of times we put the burden on ourselves, hoping that we're gonna be the ones to bring them there, instead of just trusting God, you know, and like going on His accordance, like Jalen was saying, have those personal relationships and just believe that God, at the end of the day, He's gonna move as He wants you to move. So you're being used. You're not the one doing it. You're not the one issuing the order. You're being used by God. And when you do that, those people, all those other candidates, they're like, bro, come through, bro. All right. You know what I'm saying? They move on with their lives because they just know that they're being used by God. I believe we just have to have that same trust in Him, you know.
I agree with that because personally, I think fear is like a huge barrier in connecting with people, especially as Adventists, because for one, sometimes we may feel we don't even know what it is to be Adventist in the first place. So how am I going to instill that upon another person? So I guess that could be the biggest block for someone's blessing or for your blessing as well. So we'll try, guys. We're trying. That's why we're doing this. Wow, that did not come out right.
That's tough.
Yeah. But I have an activity.
Why?
An activity.
Why?
Because why you think that?
I see what you did
Because
there.
we need to overcome this block or barrier that we have with our campus because we want to invite people.
Go find someone.
So I want you guys to pick a paper. Don't open it yet.
That's also
Don't open it yet. Yeah, I think we're doing groups. Okay, we're doing groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, perfect. Pick a paper. Perfect. Pick a paper.
Oh, I got 2.
Did you really? Okay. Thanks. Don't open it yet. Pick a paper. 4 people have papers, right?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, don't open it yet. So if you have a paper, you're gonna pick one person to be your partner in this activity. on these papers, there are scenarios that you have to act out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Act out those scenarios,
He's about to pack
and
up.
after about 5 to 10 minutes, you're gonna present it before everybody.
So it's
Okay. It's like a mini scan.
Oh.
Does everybody else have to guess what you're doing?
Is Jonathan?
No,
Oh.
it can be a lesson
No
type
what?
of thing, whatever you want to do,
Okay.
basically.
Nah. Why?
All right, so well, first pick your partners.
I thought we were going to the person next
Are you
to
gonna
us.
see your partner?
Oh, well.
Alright, we partner.
Now you can open your papers.
All right. Okay, got this.
I'm nervous. Ooh, number 1.
My choice. So.
You don't have to. And
Oh, I start first. Okay. Hey, my youth. No, crap. I already messed up.
Yo, my youth.
yes.
Take two.
Hey, my church is having a youth day this Saturday. You want to come?
What religion are you again?
I'm a Seventh-day Adventist.
And what's that?
We go to church on Saturday, and we follow the fourth commandment, the Sabbath thing, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah.
What are you guys gonna do there?
We're gonna. They're gonna sing and stuff, and we're having AY after. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. There's gonna be like a bunch of other youth people. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll come. Good
And
job.
that's all.
guys.
That's all it took.
Okay, go here.
Yours is good. Who's next?
We're next.
Okay, Spike Lee.
It wasn't that serious.
Okay.
Do you want us to say
Oh, okay.
action?
Oh, yeah, you can. We're not ready yet.
Oh.
He has to do stuff. No, wait.
You don't have to leave the room.
No,
Where
it's
is he
part of our
going?
thing. Out the door. We talked about this.
Oh,
Fire.
I got my stuff. See you guys later.
Gene, how are you gonna get your cue, man?
Oh, hey. How are you? I haven't seen you.
What?
I haven't seen you forever. How are you? So, I'm good. How's the semester going for you so far? What do you mean by that?
I got lots been going on with my family and financial situations.
Oh,
and
man.
all that. Yeah, so
What are you about to do right now?
I don't know. I'm just chilling. I'm about to head home probably.
Oh, well, I'm going to an ACF event tonight.
What's that?
So it's Adventist Christian Fellowship. It's an organization that we have here on campus where we commune with other Adventists, and we talk about God, we worship together, we pray together, and we just encourage and lift each other up. Is that something that you might be interested in?
I don't know.
It doesn't hurt
It's
to try.
it's like those Mormons that.
No, we're not
stand on the
Mormons.
streets and stuff.
No, we're not Mormons. I know for me personally, I love coming to ACF meetings every week because I just feel uplifted and encouraged every time I leave, just being around other like-minded people, and just you create general friendships with these people. So if you want, it doesn't hurt to try just to come to the one meeting and see if you like it. And since you're not doing anything, you're just going home.
Dude, I guess I'll try something. All right.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Oh.
Just kidding.
That
All right, Spike Lee.
So we're going already,
Who's next?
This reminds me of those old school Tyler Perry plays that we used to watch.
What's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
Oh, what's up, bro? You ain't never got your name, man. You've been coming here for a while, right?
Oh yeah, my name's Todd, bro.
Todd. Nice
Yeah.
to meet you, bro. What's your name? Kamacha.
Call me Todd.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah,
that
we said
later.
Todd.
What you reading, bro?
I think I'm reading Daniel. This is a lot going on right now. I don't know what these prophecies are, but
yeah, bro. It's all talking about the end times, the things that are gonna come. But I mean, we don't gotta talk about that either right now. But you heard the sermon today?
I mean, honestly, like I wasn't really listening because like my mom told me to come here, and I was like on my phone for a minute. I mean,
so you're not Seventh-day Adventist?
Not really vibing like that. Nah.
What do you believe then, bro?
I do believe there is a God, but like I don't know like where the logic stems from exactly. Like the white man kind of like screwed us with like the religion part. So like,
oh, you talking about white man? Yeah, we're not gonna talk about
white
man. But you know, Jesus, like it's more about like having a relationship with Jesus. Do you feel like you have a relationship with him?
I mean, sometimes I feel like the phone call is like do not disturb sometimes because like I'll be praying for some things, he don't come through sometimes. So it's like kind of like almost like a genie in a bottle situation where like when I need something, I'm like, yo, God, what's up? And sometimes he comes through, sometimes he doesn't. You just roll with the punches kind of thing.
But do you talk to him when you don't need anything? Do you talk to him just to talk to him, like a friend?
I don't even have friends like that, to be honest. Like, I'll be just at school, go to class, go home.
I can be your friend, bro.
Oh, for
yeah.
You got like a number I can call you at or something?
Nah, you're not gonna call me. But, but yo, me and my family, we eating after church, you know what I'm saying? You wanna come through?
I hope wait, are y'all vegetarian? Cause like,
yeah, we be eating.
I mean, well, I like this church thing. Maybe like, is there a potluck where they serve meat here?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure, I'll be there. All right, bet.
You see what happened was.
Next.
There's nobody else.
All right, our last group.
Oh, okay.
Not the phone. You got prop props.
Oh, I didn't realize.
And action.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi, I'm Janelle.
Jonathan.
So I saw you here by yourself and I was wondering, my ACF group is actually having a Vesper on Friday, the Sabbath, and here's a flyer if you would want to come. It's basically, we're just gonna open the Sabbath, pray a little bit, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you like to go to church, or is that something you do, or?
Yeah, that church stuff. I don't really see the point of going. Like, do I have to go? Like, you know, it's just.
Well, I will tell you this: church is not a requirement, but a lot of people confuse it for that. Church is not a requirement, but being in a room full of people who are struggling just like you, who are going through things just like you, who kind of have like that like-mindedness, it's helpful. You know, people can always give you encouragement. People can always give you, scriptures, give you advice, things like that. So yeah.
I mean, with the scripture thing, I've always heard like, you know, the Bible is written by men, so it's like.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, the Bible was written by men, but we believe that those men were given inspiration by the Holy Spirit. So things that they write down are not necessarily supposed to be a, black and white, this is this, this is that. It's more, the Bible's supposed to be more of a guide. So, it has basic courtesy, basic human interaction, things just to keep us living peacefully, stuff like that.
Yeah, because they have the 10 Commandments on there, and I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
What do I do with that?
Well, yeah, the 10 Commandments are a guide. Like, not everybody follows it, obviously. For example, the 4th commandment says, keep the Sabbath day holy. A lot of people go to church on Sundays. We go to church on the Sabbath, which is, Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. So we go to church on Saturdays. So that's kind of something that we do.
Okay. I'll consider it then.
Okay, no problem. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I can give you my number if you want.
Oh. All right.
All right, no problem. Nice to meet you, Jonathan.
Wow, I'm actually really surprised how y'all took that and spun those scenarios. That was really good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Situation, or was there something that stuck out to y'all?
They went too low.
They went too
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
They did. What else?
I feel like I was like, I guess I don't know, I was replaying like what I actually went through,
Mhm.
like outside of this, like, I don't know. I feel like it was actually like a real experience that I've gone through.
It makes it seem a little bit more easier. Like, I could do that, but I guess there's always that but, you know? It's like,
But a stranger.
yeah.
I get it. What are some things, because I noticed that people were saying the community aspect of ACF and the community aspect of church. Do you guys think that's like super important to incorporate, or?
Yes.
I think it's also important though, because we kept saying like, yo, we believe this and we believe that. I think it's important to inject your personal experience with God, because that's what people leave with. You can tell them all these tenets and these commandments, but how has that affected your life as an individual? So I think that's important as well.
That's good. Anybody else?
I have something, I forgot it.
Well, I'm thinking of a scenario. What if someone was like completely like, no, like, leave me
I
alone?
got a friend like
Then
that.
just leave it alone.
I got a friend like that. I mean, all you can do is give them their space.
Yeah. At least you
can-
tried.
Yeah, like you can't force somebody to follow a certain philosophy. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can only share with you what I do. I can't tell you about something that I don't know.
And that's generally what Jesus asked us to do. He asked us to share the
Just
gospel,
to
not
witness.
force
Yeah.
someone to.
I mean, that was me at one point, because, I mean, the people on campus, it was like getting annoying. But the funny thing was, I knew who to go to if I needed anything in that area, you know what I mean? Like, even though I was like, no, no, I'm good, or can't make it, whatever, you know, it's just like, I knew where to go. I knew there was a spot or a safe place or something, you know?
Oh, I remember. So when you were talking about the community thing, why we always bring that up, it's because like legit, a lot of people out here feel like they don't have a community.
That's true.
So, and I've seen so many people who have like isolated themselves from others because they feel like they don't fit in with anyone, or they feel like people are gonna like label them or judge them, and they kind of like get kind of social anxiety about being in a group full of people who all have like kind of the same mentality. And I have a friend like this. I keep inviting her to church and she doesn't want to come because she's afraid that people are going to treat her the same way that, like, Christians are going to treat her the same way that Christians have done in the past. And so she tends to kind of like put everybody in that same bracket, like that same bubble.
Yeah.
And she feels like she doesn't belong there. And so me, I'm trying to convince her that no, not everybody's the same. You should still give it a chance. So it's like kind of convincing them to give things a chance after they've been kind of like shunned and things like that. That's the hard part. That's the very hard part.
It's super hard. Normally, because for me, I'm in the Adventist church. I know how the Adventist church can be. We can have those controversial rooms, who would say that your skirt's too short, or why are you wearing pants in church? And then we can also have the millennial youth who accept you for who you are. So I guess for me, I totally understand that because my church is more on the traditional side.
Same.
Very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Conservative?
Conservative, very conservative. Long skirts, no shoulders showing. But then I go to other churches and it's like shorter dresses, everyone's looking nice.
I'm gonna find boo today.
Exactly, and it's like, I get the division. I honestly do. And I guess in that way you can kind of relate to that person if they ever bring up that topic. It's like, yes, I understand but I'm inviting you to an event that is like non-judgmental. And I also want to urge y'all to not be careful with your events, but just know, like Jalen said, know what the event you're inviting that person to. How are they going to be surrounded? Are they going to be talked about? Are they going to be judged? Are they going to be like, and it's so hard to like say that because you don't want to think about the Adventist community like that, but it's reality, you know? It's like not everyone's going to think the same as you in terms of like stuff like that, so.
That also reminded me, like, back to the question, like, why is it so hard to invite someone to, like, church or whatever like that? Like, thinking about it, like, when you talk about how the Adventist community is and, like, you grew up in it so you know how it works, it's like, why would I want to invite someone to something that even I don't tend to not like sometimes? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to bring them into this.
Especially the, like, cultural aspect.
Culturals, yeah.
Haitian Adventist church and regular American Adventist church is two different things, fam.
You're not wrong.
Because, like, it's kind of, I don't even know how to explain this, but it's like you already have, like, Adventism is a culture in itself, and then you have Haitian culture, and then it's kind of like bleeding together. So it's like Haitian culture, the Gumboons are always conservative as heck, and then Adventist culture is conservative as heck. And so trying to invite them to a Haitian church is like twice as bad because people are like, oh, blah, blah. And then, you know, I have, English speaking friends, and they get kind of nervous when people speak Creole around them and blah, blah, blah. So.
That's really good. But I guess at the end of the day, though, like Kamachi said, we are servants. You don't control everything. God does. And so if they're blessed, and they will come again. And if they're not, God will find some way, somehow, to get them there. What's up?
I feel like if we're gonna be servants, we have to know like what we're doing per se though. Cause like, I mean, in the Bible, Jesus was, I mean, obviously he was like the Messiah and everything, but to the people of the day, he was just a healer, a teacher, like stuff like that. So like figuring out what we can be known for so we can leverage what we have to give them in a sense. Cause like my dad told me this, like, once you have something people need from you, you'll always be in demand kind of situation. It's like always try to like leverage your connections, your like whatever you have to the point where people are coming to you instead of you coming to them, because you'll waste more energy going to them if they're coming if they're coming to you. So you gotta create like an attraction to yourself kind of situation. So like if you're a tutor or something, leverage your tutoring to the point where people are coming to you, or if you do like mechanic work, leverage it so that people are coming to you instead of you having to go seek all the time. So figuring out a way to like make ACF more attractive as well, not to like entice people or like lie to them directly to get them, not lie to them to come to the events or anything, but like make them so attractive, I guess, to the point where people are like, I kind of have to go to this because I will get this or something like that. So
I remember when we went out to go feed and clothe the homeless. Like, yeah, we gave them clothes and food, but it was crazy to see how many people stayed for prayer and stuff, you know. And it's like, yeah, we gave them the need, you know. And then, I mean, kudos to even the people who come out and, you know, do this constantly, because then I feel like then that's like a true, like, you know, you get more of a connection and more of a relationship. But like, you feel the need, right? And people are like, yo, I'll stay for the prayer. One guy was like, yo, this is, you guys, like, we didn't even have that much clothes. We felt like we didn't accomplish anything. And one guy's like, yo, this is a miracle. Like, you guys have done more than enough. We're like, really? Are you serious? Like, we just fit everything in like one car and stuff. And it was just, you know, so I think, like, kind of like you're saying, like, you know, people will come for that. And then sometimes they respect you for, you know, for what you believe in. So
I feel like that also goes along with just living like Jesus, trying every day to be close to him. So technically people see Jesus in you, and like you said, you won't have to go to them. They'll come to you because they're like, there's something about this person, and I need to talk to them. I need to figure out what it is. So I feel like if we start within ourselves, it can expand more.
That's true. individual person and your purpose. Like, some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts, and some of us are in between. And all of us are like, wait, how do I do this and how do I do that? Well, looking inside, for example, me, I hate talking in front of people so much, but I love art. And so I guess I can use my art to talk to people, and I can sort of, in a way, attract them to Jesus and to the light and to whatever they need. So I guess we don't always have to be like, hey, come to me and be all in people's faces. Like, in some situations, people don't even want that. So they don't need that. So I guess don't be afraid to look inside yourself and see, what do I have that can be beneficial to somebody else? So, yeah. Anybody have any additional thoughts? What's up?
It's just like an event idea that I was thinking about just now. But like, I don't know if we can afford it, but like Chick-fil-A biscuits and Scantrons. Like just handing those out. Like something super simple. Cause like people be fiending for Scantrons.
That'd be dope though.
Yeah, it'd have to be free Scantrons.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I had to get out there front about it.
All right, anybody have any additional thoughts before we close? Awesome. Well, that's it for this meeting. Thank you guys so much for participating, and I hope you guys learned something new about approaching people and not being afraid. We're going to do more of these, so be prepared, because we need to be that light. Like, we are that generation. You heard?
Yeah.